Alright, Mins. In that case, help me with a recap.
Oh god. Wait, I unvolunteered.
Nope, too
Wow.
Okay.
Well, you got your
Last
natural one out,
time-
boy.
If
That's a real life natural one right there.
if you really don't want to do it, I'll do it. I just thought it would be
No.
fun to...
No. I'm good. Last night, or last week,
last time.
on Khorzaire, Curse of Life, the gang walked into a Minotaur's house, had a pleasant conversation, learned that he's a pretty cool dude, pretty honorable. I think we ended up agreeing that we needed to go back into the mines and sort of find out what Feather and Co. are trying to uncover and stop Feather, as we also remembered Gay Basarako isn't even in the city. They had left multiple days ago. Before we could go into the mine, Chuka? How do you say this? Toka. There we go. Toka was like, hey, I need to fix my gauntlets that are just pile drivers, effectively. Pile drivers?
Pile bunkers.
Yeah. Just pistons on his wrists, pretty much. And we need to get a bunch of flint. So, we went shopping. Found a nice little store, very cozy, that was in the middle of a moving sale. I do not remember the name of it, but the shopkeeper for?
The name of the shop is Trace Elements. T-R-E accent acute S. And the name of the shopkeeper is like a void cat tabaxi named 3.
I was one off. Yeah, after a lot of shopping hijinks, the gang eventually got way too much flint and a bunch of different elemental shield stones.
We needed every ounce of that flint.
Debatable. Which
I will debate it.
For another time, perhaps. We ended up bringing that back, and then went into the mines. And that's pretty much it.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, and I'll pick up from there. So the mine shaft. This mine shaft spirals downwards. You're traveling as a group, along with Toka, who he's got his gauntlets on, and he's got a torch clasped in his hand. He's holding it aloft. Before we proceed further, what is the lighting situation? Does anyone else have light on or torch lit?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Zoaz does not.
Okay. So Toka's got the torch. He's leading you guys ahead. The mineshaft is spiraling downwards on this gentle slope. For several minutes, you're traveling in just an enclosed tunnel with unlit braziers every 10 or so feet that Toka doesn't bother to light. He just ignores them. He just goes straight. There's rectangular wooden supports above you that are keeping the integrity of the cavern from collapsing. Chuman, and then just as a review, Chuman, as you continue down and down, the more time you spend in here, you can feel part of you kind of like awaken and be more energetic, as if a sixth sense is turned on the deeper you travel on the earth. Your awareness heightens, and you can now benefit from your favorite terrain.
Yeah.
You can hear the creak of wood below you, and the mine rails that you're traveling on. The light of the torch that Toka holds aloft, you can see that there are gaps and just darkness below the wood planks, and you can see the emptiness below. Realize that you're standing on a bridge. Toka continues on, just wordlessly explaining without anyone asking him. This part fell. Just brusquely. Matter-of-factly. So you all are here. He leads you to the solid cave floor, and then you are now standing in front of an overturned minecart. Behind you and to the left is an unfinished and unrefined hole. The walls are jagged and rough. It's not supported or anything either. Ahead, you can see the mine tracks curl around an immense hole that must be part of the one that you saw from above. And it's spiraling ever deeper into the dusty spiral of crust of the continent of Khorzaire. Barely illuminated in the middle of the hole from Toka's torch that he holds aloft is an immense pillar and a bridge connecting two alcoves that spans the gap. In the torchlight, you can make out a relief on the pillar, and everything else is kind of like what you see is what you get. Toka turns around towards you, and he points across the massive hole to the west and mentions, "There is where the collapse was resulted in a casualty. That is our destination. From there, we can continue downward and descend."
Hello.
And Makayla, you had been listening intently, not to Toka, but to your surroundings. And you didn't hear anything come along. So like you get the sense that for the time being you are alone, but also very very good news, there are no like weird monsters or anything lurking around in the immediate vicinity either.
Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, there was also like no corpses, right? There was not even like signs the corpses got like dragged away or anything. It was just cleaned as if nothing was ever there.
Right, all the corpses are gone, but there was signs that they were moved or dragged away or something.
Oh, it was, okay.
Yeah. If you wanted to take a moment to look at that, I know we were wrapping up at the end, and you may not have had time to. I'll let you do that kind of retroactively.
It's fine.
Okay.
I think it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, you could get the sense that they were moved or otherwise. And here you are with Toka pointing across the gap, turning towards you, and he looks like he's ready to move on. What would you guys like to do?
Is the relief, like, how visible is it? Like, the torchlight makes it so we know it's there, but is it like, can we discern the finer details?
Zoaz, you can see it rather nicely because of your dark vision afforded to you by
Fair enough.
protection of Selenite. You can't make it out, but you can see that it is an easy thing that exists in the pillar. It's not.
Okay.
It's not like it's not rough or anything. Like you can see that it was like put there on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess anybody else with dark vision can also see that detail as well. But you can't make out what it is from your position. You would have to get up to it. It's not that big.
Makes sense.
It's maybe like a window. Say it size.
Oh, okay. I thought it was bigger. Yeah. That makes sense. Zoaz is going to step forward and turn, look at Toka and say, "Well, lead the way."
I shall. And he just continues on. He kind of detours around the minecart and doesn't make an effort to kind of pick it up or ride it. It seems pretty purposeful now. And leads on with the torch held aloft and just moves forward. You guys cross another bridge. There's the creak of the wood. For a moment, as the 7 of you all move over. Hang on, let me bring everybody around. For a moment, as the seven of you move over, there's all this kind of like creaking, and it bends a little bit with all of you's weight, and there's that. Toka continues moving. As he's moving forward, he's pointing out that the alcove that is revealed by the firelight to your left goes in and around, and then eventually leads up to where the rope bridge spanning the gap would be, and mentions, "We can take that way. It is also a path to our destination, or we can take the easy way and continue around the bend."
Zoaz kind of tilts his head a bit. Would there be merit in not taking the path of least resistance?
No. Perhaps not.
A very slight chuckle, and Zoaz nods
I
and
know that
moves
you-
past the alcove.
I know that you adventurer types have a certain fondness for curiosities, and there happen to be curiosities on that pillar that you might want to check out. If you are not interested, we can continue up. We can continue around the gap. It does not matter to me.
I was
I
curious
realized he
about...
answered that question wrong, so that's my fault.
Mhm. Zoaz clears his throat. I was somewhat curious about the relief on the central pillar there. But if the rest of the group does not show any interest, I am fine moving past.
Makayla kind of just like looks over to the over the gap and like just tries to like squint to see if she could like make out anything of the pillar, and just kind of shakes her head.
You can like very dimly see the relief from Toka's current position.
Okay.
Like he'll move his torch over, and
Mhm.
In the dim light, you can make out that there is a relief that Zoaz is describing.
I mean, if is there specific danger of going this route? It's faster. It's faster, right?
It is faster by perhaps a minute, but it is interesting. It goes this middle pillar. It has not just that one relief, though we built the bridge underneath it. They go all the way down and all the way up. They seem to depict different things, but if you are not interested, then neither am I. And then he starts moving towards around the gap.
We aren't really here to sightsee, are we?
Not in particular. We do have potentially people relying on us. It may be best to take the fastest path.
As long as it means we don't have to take that bridge.
Okay. And let's see here. Makayla, you've been listening the whole time. Go ahead and roll me another perception check. The audio situation has changed by now because you've been participating in conversation. Let's see. I'll go ahead and interrupt and ask why Pastiche is blind and deaf.
Pastiche is currently looking through an owl's eyes.
Oh, okay. Tell me that you're doing that.
Okay.
Alright, we're looking through an owl's eyes. Keen hearing and sight. Okay. Do owls have dark vision?
Wait,
This one does.
They
does that
should.
mean that one of us has to actually drag your body?
No, if,
No, I'm not disabled.
Okay.
I just can't see or hear through my own body.
Yeah, all your senses are now the senses of the.
oh, is,
familiar.
is Mitch like perched on your shoulder?
Yeah.
Here,
Okay.
Okay.
Pastiche, just how about tell us what you're doing with with your ability here. And yeah, if you please.
Okay. Well, you may have noticed Pastiche reaching into their left eye socket and pulling out their eye.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Xalia will do the same thing, except her eye ends up in the palm.
Alright. Well, Pastiche is up in a bird's mouth.
Okay.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
It's powerful.
Alright.
Xalia's gonna keep doing it. More and more eyes on her palm.
Like, this is like a fight as
Alright. Let's see. So you're currently seeing through the owl. The owl actually has dark vision, and so you too, Pastiche, can see the relief in the distance on the pillar. Basically, just anybody that has dark vision out to a certain distance can. Let's see. As you guys move closer to the relief that's on the pillar, and you're kind of going around the gap, going the shortest distance, of course. There is a point where Toka gets closer, just because of the natural curve, and those with dark vision, the relief is lit up with dim light, which allows you to clearly see it, and it depicts, like you can, from your current position, it's still not like able to be made out fully, but you can see the most prominent feature is a skull with a crown on this relief. And then there's more details, but you can't make it out on your current, from your current distance. Toka moves.
Xalia is going to gain interest and start trying to move towards it, but doesn't seem to be in a position where we comfortably can.
Right. As you move closer, like you stand on the edge of this minecart bridge
Yeah.
to kind of see closer. You suddenly fall. No, I'm just kidding.
Dexterity save.
It's difficult to make out the details, but go ahead and give me a perception check with disadvantage.
Okay. Let me get a character sheet up real quick. Meow.
Yeah? Is that your character sheet getting up noise?
Yeah,
It should be.
Okay.
that's the Sigma's mewling, and I mewl back at her noise.
Cool.
Alright. Xalia, yeah, and not able to quite make it out, you realize you would have to kind of go up to the level that it's on in order to make out the particular details.
Alright.
And then just Toka continues onwards.
Oh no.
Oh,
He's going on.
No. It's bad decisions time, baby.
Uh-huh.
So what are you doing?
While they go ahead, she's gonna cast Spider Climb on herself and try to start scrabbling up to, closer to it.
Okay. So let's see, kind of like as Toka moves forward, bringing the torch with them, the group is following you. Kind of slowly, kind of lag behind, and then give the relief one last look, and then look around, see the kind of cliff or shelf up that leads up to the alcove above you. Look up, and then see the rope path, and then just following this Rube Goldberg of how to get over there, and then cast Spider Climb on yourself.
Yep.
And then you just walk up the shelf.
Yep.
And knowing Xalia, she probably just walks upside down the rope bridge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
Okay. And then you make it over to the section here. So we'll put you there. You are in the dark, as the only source of light in the room leaves you. So now,
Yep.
frustratingly, you can't see.
What do you mean I can't see?
Oh no.
Well, I don't know. What are you doing?
Okay, she's might not, but that was the first thing I saw in the inventory.
Yeah. Dropping a campfire bead on a wooden rope bridge?
Yeah. What about it? She could also burning hands.
Sure.
So, what are you doing?
Let's see. I think prestidigitation is probably enough for this. Probably just she just keeps casting it and just repeatedly, which is entirely in character for her to just keep doing that.
Okay.
Just prestidigitation, like a flash of light, then do it again, until she's seen what she sees.
Okay. All right. So, let's see. So this happens while the team makes the round. It takes you maybe a couple seconds before you get a decent enough look at it and realize that it depicts a scene of a sort of like a bony what's the word? Skull. I feel stupid for saying bony skull. Oh my goodness. Like a bony face, or just like some sort of skull. It's like a man's features, but it's definitely kind of like emaciated, with just kind of like stringy hair cascading down. And each hair string has its own little bump on the relief. It's this head is wearing a crown, and then there's bony hands that are kind of spread out across the sides of the relief, and then they're across many stick figures, and then there's indentations of coins that are raining from the sky on this relief.
Are there indentations for the coin, or are there indentations like you could put a coin in the indentation?
Oh no, it's a relief, so it's just like there's engraving of the coins.
Oh, okay. Does this at all seem familiar to things Xalia may have experienced in the past? Hey, Sigma.
In the same sentence, there's no B, just hey Sigma.
Uh-huh.
She decided she wanted to walk up to me and start mewling very loudly.
Let's see here. Make a religion check or a history check, your choice.
Okay, let's see what she's better at. Probably equivalent. No, actually better at history.
It does seem vaguely familiar to things that Xalia has encountered before in a past escapade that she has been on. This might be perhaps the first depiction of such a figure that you've heard so much about and had to stop the underlings of their machinations for.
Upon realizing this, she's gonna like stick her tongue out at it. And then prestidigitation. Actually, she might do this perm. Get anything way to mark it. I don't know if she does. But she was trying to do, like a mustache and glasses on the skeleton.
Excellent.
The thought count is what counts.
Yeah, this definitely happens.
I
Around
think
this...
she might like.
No, go ahead. I was just saying this. Around this definitely happens.
I think she might like legitimately use magic missiles to like do it with pockmarks.
Is that what you'd like to do?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and do it.
I haven't been tracking it. I haven't been tracking how many I.
Well, you took a long rest, right?
It is a legitimate wand of magic missile. You're using the wand, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it is a legitimate wand of magic missiles that refills instead of like a broken one. So it's
Yeah, I'm
probably
thinking I
full
haven't-
by now.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
So
so
she's.
I'll put you at 7. There you go.
Yeah. Let's see. So magic missile is 4 at this level, right?
It is.
Oh wait, it's random. No, it isn't.
It's magic missile at level 1 is
Uh-huh.
3 darts.
3 darts. Okay, so that is 1 use for each half of the mustache.
Uh-huh.
And then probably so that's 2 uses, and then I think I can imagine a very vague pair of glasses in about 11, so 6 uses.
Oh.
Pockmark, magic missile.
Worth
Alright.
it.
Now that was math.
Alright. In a matter of seconds, Xalia, you have truly defiled this relief and vandalized it good and proper.
Okay.
The rest of you hear this because it is obviously explosions.
She's gonna scrabble back to the party now.
Yeah, like you guys hear like explosions and like chipping away and chiseling of rock as these magical arcane energy blasts slam into this relief. And then in the direction of the noise, you can see Xalia scampering in the darkness.
Hearing explosions and Xalia scrabbling away from something with speed, Zoaz is going to call out, Xalia, is everything alright?
Xalia being Xalia is not going to respond until she's back.
Pussy? Just going to turn around and watch Xalia.
Alright. Xalia is just starting to to reach the rope bridge, like the beginning of the rope bridge where it becomes off of the wood platform, where Makayla, who you've been focusing your senses on listening the entire time you're down here to make sure you're not followed, you do, in addition to the
Sudden,
explosion,
just like
just bang, bang. But also in the distance, you can hear a particular set of echoes. They're just like coming from the direction that you were just at, and it is definitely and absolutely many footsteps heading, echoing towards your way, and you hear this.
Well, if they didn't know we're here, they do now. She'd turn around, right? You said they're coming from where we just were?
Yeah, they're coming from the
Sort of the
yeah, like
east?
from that sort of like the northeast-ish.
Mm-hmm.
You have a quick moment to do something before
People
they
are
arrive.
here.
You get the idea of.
I think. Kayla would not like this position. So she turn, I guess, towards the group, or turn back towards the group, and just sort of say, "We have to move now," and start like brisk. Well, I don't know if she'd necessarily run, but like brisk, trying to like move. Up north. Like just continue up to get, like we have to find a better position. As you sort of continue saying as
All right.
moving.
On hearing that, Pastiche is gonna snatch his eye back from Mitch, stick it back in his face.
Let me get an initiative roll from everybody.
Got Xalia.
He's busy on the rope bridge.
And
initiative.
I literally can't even see where she is.
and everyone can move 20 feet from your current position,
Including me?
including Xalia.
I assume as a result of Makayla's warning.
That's correct.
Cool.
Wait, that's, I don't know if that's 20 feet.
And then, let's see here.
Oops. Okay, there it is.
As you all are bolting for your different directions, across the gap, you can hear the footsteps on this creaking mineshaft. They're on the bridge now, you ascertain. It's definitely several of them. And among them you can hear just like a quiet kind of chuckling or cackling, and also a certain snicker. And we're going to go ahead and roll initiative. You can't see them, except for Zoaz, actually. Who has dark vision? Who can actually see over here?
I think it's only Zoaz.
Well, you have
Doesn't
you.
Gloomstalker get dark vision?
Yeah.
Or
you
is it,
have
Yeah,
It's outside of my range.
Oh, okay.
Because I have
True.
90 feet, I think.
That is so many dice.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. What do you mean dice? There's no
I
dice.
mean-
We're in a mine shaft.
Yeah, don't
I
worry.
mean,
you're
those
crazy.
sound like a lot of.
Yeah, that
There's a
sounds like a
feet.
lot of pairs of feet.
Yeah, don't worry about it. What are
Many
you talking about? It was only one die. Alright.
It's
Uh-huh.
nothing.
So, let's see here. Zoaz, you can see this group move in, and it's just like an amalgamation of like cackling and chittering gnolls, wearing hoods. There's this dull glow in their eyes, kind of like rosy. They're joined by a couple short-statured, long-bearded fellows as well, and one of them scampers across the bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and is going to, let's see here. It's going to sight Xalia probably underneath the bridge, right? Walking upside down.
Correct.
Okay. It's going to sight Xalia walking underneath the bridge, knock an arrow, and send it hurtling and whistling towards, or whistling through the air towards her, and then immediately knock another one, and then send that out there as well. So we've got-
Well, I can't shield that first one, but the second one misses.
Okay. 22.
Yeah, I can't shield that.
All right. 9
Ow.
damage.
Ow!
All right. Is Spider Climb concentration?
I think so.
Yeah.
May I have a concentration check, please?
Were
You
you
sure
spider
can.
climbing under it?
Yes.
I don't like this.
Let me make sure, and that's a con check, right?
Yeah, it's a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Everything's fine.
Okay.
that
Okay.
that kind of like hung on the one for a second. It was
Uh-huh.
sick. All right, Xalia, the sting of this arrow slams into your into the back of your shoulder blade, and for a moment, you have to focus all your might on maintaining concentration on the spider climb spell, and you do so, but there is.
She's going to scream hiss very loudly with her Null Skull face. She still has that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
All right. So upon Xalia's clear warning bells, Makayla, what would you like to do?
I guess Makayla would like
You can
look
hear.
over.
So
Oh,
sorry. Go
go
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Makayla would like look over her shoulder and realize not everyone really. The people didn't run in the right direction, I guess. Kind of click her tongue and just turn around, like, you know, do a quick turn on her heels. Realize she still can't see anything. Just sort of prepare Magic Stone, and that's her bonus action. And then, let's see, hold on. She has still only 30 feet. I guess she'll walk 30 feet the other, run 30 feet back, still unable to see, but already to attack with Magic Stone, like throwing a Magic Stone at anything if it ever sort of enters vision range.
Okay.
Anything
Like
you say.
Mm-hmm.
You sure about that one?
Well,
What? No, you're already in vision range.
Okay.
You're chilling. Any enemy that enters vision range, so like that I can see.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Which brings us to Pastiche. Pastiche, will you roll initiative for Mitch, please?
Did I not? I did.
He
I
did.
think you already did. Mitch is
number
Oh,
4.
okay,
Twig.
sorry, I see him. Sorry. Which Pastiche, you hear this blood-curdling scream from Xalia, and you can hear like the chittering and cackling begin to kind of emanate and echo out throughout the cavern. What would you like to do?
Well, seeing the party moving towards the noise, Pastiche is going to join them. And paint a circular motion on the ground that doesn't immediately appear to do anything.
This is a funny spell.
Okay.
And in their turn.
Alright, I'm going to
Roll that blink.
go to Markia. Yeah, go ahead and roll me some blink. A 9. Alright.
Nothing happens.
Yes, nothing happens for now. But Pastiche traces this sigil on the ground, and he looks. Traces this sigil on the ground, and they look confident. Across the way, you guys hear a sucking sound, sort of like.
I'm sorry, what?
A sucking sound, sort of like. And let's see, Zoaz. I don't think you can see that guy. But perhaps everyone sees sort of like a brief flash of dim gray light.
Like, I assume you're saying this dude is, like, out of my line of sight, not he's out of my range of sight?
Yeah, out of your line of
Okay,
sight.
yeah, that makes sense.
And you can hear tap taps on the wood bridge. Alright, which brings us to Toka. Toka looks around, leans, moves forward, sort of like limbers up, moves his head from side to side, cracking his neck. He says, "Stand back. I will handle this." And he takes an odd device out of his hand, out of his gear, and he pushes a button on it, and suddenly the tune in your head, the song in your heart as adventurers dissipates, and it's replaced with
Yeah?
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
This man's got his own fight theme.
it's time to go to work.
OMG.
Toka's got some good taste in music.
So also across the way, bing, 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 bing. Let's see here, bloop, bloop. This one is going to see. It's going to fire 2 arrows. What's the longbow range? 120? No, 1,000,000?
Yeah, about a
Something
million.
like that.
Oh yeah, he can see me now because of Toka.
Wait, did he just like action change OST?
Yes.
Yeah, he put on his mixtape, hello?
Oh my god, this man.
Oh wait, actually, sorry, this one's different. You can't do that. You notice that this one, Zoaz, this one bounding forward does not have a bow, but there is a sort of violet glow about their kind of clawed hands. And this is they rush forward, kind of like feral-like, hunched over, their hood flopping forward. Which brings us to Chuman.
The only way to get on top of the bridge is by going like through here, right?
That's the only way to walk there. You can try climbing. It'll just be like half your speed. It's easily climbable. It's about 10 feet up, so it'd take you 20 feet of movement to get up there.
Okay.
And then keep in mind since this is the first turn of combat, your movement speed is increased.
Right. I'm actually going to move across, because I'm assuming I can't see this guy.
Right, he is on the
the line of sight.
Yeah, he is on the other side of the thing. You can't see him, you don't know he's there.
Okay.
Well, you can hear that something's over there, but you
That's the
can't
only
see
thing.
him. Yeah.
I'm gonna move over here, out of the light. That way they can't see Chuman. And then Chuman is going to use Spike Growth.
Ooh.
Wow, that's actually really good.
And it's gonna put it here to completely block off their route. Let's see. But this will be an action, correct?
Yeah, it's an action to cast a spell.
Okay. In terms of how that works with Dread Ambush and and 2 attacks.
I think Dread Ambush is if you take the attack action, you can take another attack action. Or you just
Right.
get a bonus attack on top of it. So you didn't take the attack, you took cast a spell. So you do not get
Right. Okay. That's gonna be it.
Yeah, okay.
Chuman's just gonna stay in the shadows. And
Okay.
try to see how many there are.
Alrighty. Let's see here. Across the way, you can hear sort of like a vibrating sound, like a vroom. And let's see here. There is a dim violet light. Sorry, not violet. There's like a dim kind of like salmon colored light. It looks vaguely sword shaped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see here. Doesn't know it's there. So
Yeah, so roll 2d4.
yeah, go ahead. Owies! Let's see, and anybody that knows Dwarven can get the can hear there's stuff on the ground, spikes, grr. And also like the arcade Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, my toe.
Uh-huh.
Which brings us to Zoaz. You can sense that there's a surge of movement from the northeast.
From the northeast, okay. I think Zoaz is going to use Eyes of Night to share dark vision with Pastiche, Makayla, and Toka.
Okay.
And then he's going to say, there's too many ways they can approach us, and they could have cut us off at the bend. We have to narrow their angles of approach and move forward with Toka.
Okay. We'll just. You said Pastiche, Toka, and who?
Makayla.
Okay. We'll use Mart for that. So you can now. So that gives them 300.
I believe so.
You can see forever now.
Yeah, 300 feet of dark vision, and they can see in dim light as if it were bright light, And in darkness, it's a forward in light.
Sheesh.
Oh my god.
All
Oh
right.
jeez.
Does that mean that you technically
Out of my
like
range.
blind them since the torch is like right next to Toka?
No, it doesn't increase bright light. It just
Okay.
makes it so that it's easier to see in darker light.
All right.
Okay.
Is there like an effect of like how we see it as it?
I like
the
to
back?
imagine that it's like it's like a veil has been removed on your vision.
Cool.
Someone applied an Instagram filter to your eyes.
Oh, they are way far away.
And
Uh,
as this veil is removed, you can see this squad of creatures heading towards you. Which brings us. Do you have anything else?
No, that'll be the end of my turn.
Okay, which brings us to Mitch the owl.
my attack can't go off, right? Like I can't try and throw the stone even if it's out of my range. I'm like just wanting to be by the rules.
right.
Because I said technically I said like the first thing I see,
Yeah,
not the first thing in range,
you can.
and it's out of range.
Yeah, it is out of range. You can still throw it. It's just obviously, it's out of your range. You can't hit him. Unless you are a superhero. Would you like to throw it?
Yeah, I'll stick to how I said it. I'll stick to my condition. So sure,
Okay.
you know. I don't know how these rules are necessarily supposed to
roll,
go. So
roll
it throws and it
a-
just like
give me a dexterity check.
a dexterity check. Okay. Or just like a raw dexterity check.
Yeah, regular dexterity.
No.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack with disadvantage. Okay.
Absolutely no.
Oh.
That's a 1.
Oh my goodness. Do you
And a
hit
5.
Xalia?
Oh.
No, you hurl the magic stone, and the magic tries to carry it forward and hit the target that you can now see, but unfortunately there is a limit to it, and it careens down into the huge gap that breaks up this room in the center. You can hear it clatter against the you can hear it clatter against the wall down there, and it loosens up some other rocks, and just down it goes.
Okay.
Which brings us to Mitch.
Mitch is going to fly straight up into the air and approach the bridge
Okay.
and just take up a position there.
Alright. Mitch, flop, 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 flop. Twig, there is trouble ahead that you can hear. Toka's got he's moved forward towards the rope bridge, and you can sense that there are many enemies afoot. What would you like to do?
If I wanted to light a lantern, would that be an action? Or like using an object?
No, it's just use an object. You get one of those for free.
Alright, then I'm gonna do that with my hooded lantern.
Okay. Let's see here. Light. Oops, other way. There you go.
That'd be a light.
Actually, just kidding. Hooded lanterns are even better.
Whoa.
Hooded lanterns are 30-60.
But there'd be more light.
Okay.
Alright, and then I'm gonna bonus action dash. Over here. And I'll try to use the rest of my movement to climb the cliff over here.
Okay. You still got your action, so you could use like dash action to climb it up. Yeah.
Can I use dash twice?
Yeah.
Whoa. Then I'll do that.
Yeah, you can bonus dash and then action dash. You could totally do that.
And then
speed.
feline agility.
So yeah, dash gives you another full speed. So you have 30 more feet. It would take you 20 feet to climb up. So you can get 10 feet from your current position.
Alright, so I'll end my turn here.
Alright. You guys can see Twig, quick as you like, just scramble, like, shoot between Makayla and Pastiche with just a flurry of feathers, and then scramble up the cliff and hoist himself up. Looks like he's headed towards this alcove, or at least on top of here. Which brings us to, let's see here. You guys hear another sort of like vibrating sound, and another violet light. Sorry, another kind of like rosy colored salmon light appears. 1, 2, 3, 6. Which brings us to Xalia. That arrow hurt. What would you like
how
to
far
do?
down is it from here, by the way? To the ground?
From the rope bridge to the ground? It's about 10 feet.
Yeah. She's still gonna drop then.
Uh,
Can she like brace herself or try to roll?
yeah, give me an acrobatics check.
Okay.
That's good enough. I'm not gonna ding you for for just 10 feet, especially with spider climb. So yeah, you brace yourself for the drop. It's still a pretty monumental drop, but you right yourself and then tuck and roll. And
Well, actually, if it's only like 10 feet down, she could have like hang down by her hands and then just kind of drop, and it's only a 5-foot drop.
yeah, sure.
That
Kind
could
of
work.
just stretch out
Huh?
normally.
And you disperse the
Do some IRL squash and scratch, you know?
yeah, you disperse the impact, and you are now down on the ground beneath it.
Yep. And then she's gonna scrabble behind and just kind of hit at the nose again. Like an annoyed cat. Hello, Sigma. Yes, it's the time I feed you.
Annoyed cat noises.
Speaking of annoyed cat.
Yeah. By the way, actually,
Anything else?
I can make a wisdom check for her. Actually,
Oh no.
Do you?
I do. She has a bad idea. Okay, she's not
He's
gonna
not
light.
doing it.
She's not gonna light this on fire.
That would have been a bad idea.
Thank you, Xalia.
Okay, that's her turn.
All right. So let's see here. This one, there's more chittering and cackling. Oh, that's too much. And we're going to shoot 2 more arrows from a very gnarly looking longbow. Let's see here. One's going to Chuman, and then one is going to... Let's see here.
Wait, they can see me in this?
It, as it turns out, you're standing in the darkness, Chuman, and you can hear a kind of like a whistle fly right by your head, and an arrow embeds itself in the cavern wall. All the dangerous. And then this other one's going to Zoaz. 17.
That hits.
Okay.
Ow!
Max rolled it. This one goes straight, like underneath your collarbone, Zoaz. That one's a stinger.
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right. Then this one, you hear another sucking noise, just like. And then that would be 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That would be the rest of this one. Let's see here. We're gonna go. Yeah, we're gonna stay there because that's slightly intelligent. All right, so this one is going to knock 2 more arrows. Let's see here. One towards Toka because he's big. Toka can see him, and then one towards. Let's see here. Actually, this is both at Toga. Okay, the 18 hits. The 12 does not. Wow, okay.
He's tough.
He's pretty tough. This gnoll takes an arrow and he's running to this alcove. And as he's doing it, he's firing off 2 arrows in succession, soof, soof, at Toka, the large minotaur in front of you. He kind of like one hits in the gauntlet and it just bounces off harmlessly, just, and then the other just kind of like scrapes him on the forearm where the gauntlet doesn't protect him. Kind of like looks down at it, grimaces, and then sniffs. Makayla.
This is precisely why I didn't want us to fight here. Outranged and no cover. Just kind of gestures to the giant chasm. Trying to think, what can I do? Alright. Makayla will walk up here to the edge. 10 or 20 movement. So she should have 10 more, right? Yeah. And then use her Swarmkeeper's fire.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Let me. This is. Yeah. All right. That works. And, it will be here, but it will be rotated the other way. So I can't. So effectively, let me delete that and remake that. But effectively, it's it would be here.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Because that's still technically, that is in range. Like this specific spot is range, but the rest is not. So.
Okay.
At least I think so. Is that how that works? Is it by edge or center of a cube?
Each object in a 20-foot cube within range. So it doesn't say on a point that you can see, or like centered on a point that you can see. It's just they're in a cube. So the cube's in range.
Alright, cool.
That's good enough. Alright. Tell me about how your Swarmkeeper fire looks. As you light 2 of these.
Two of them. Sick. So how would it look? Yeah, it would be like out of the darkness of the cave. Just vultures would just sort of fly and just sort of like dive bomb into them and explode into this, you know, very monochrome, like black and gray light that kind of glows on them, and I guess the surrounding space.
Okay. They also shed dim light.
Yeah.
Neat.
And then I walk back. Hold on, I gotta back the character. Walk back 10 feet. That's my turn.
Alright.
Oh wait, bonus action. I will activate my blessing. It's blessing.
Okay.
No, I'm done.
Which goes to Pastiche as Makayla lights up 2 of these dudes. They now shed light, and you can see very clearly a couple of these dudes. You can see, everyone, you can now see that the Duergar with these long, kind of shaggy beards, curly and fuzzy, they're holding something in their hands, and from it is emanating a rosy colored sword made from light. And you can see one of them just basically like tripped into the spike growth. What would you like to do, Pastiche?
Pastiche is going to conjure a small ball of ink over their palm, crush it, and point at this knoll across the way.
Dang the point technique.
He's calling the shots.
A small pit begins to open up underneath the knoll's feet.
Okay.
It's happening.
Alright. We succeed on the saving throw, unfortunately.
Unfortunate.
The knoll definitely steps away from the pit.
Yeah, The knoll, at the last moment, like, it sees what's going on, then is like, just jumps, whoop, nope, just lurches its body to the side. Okay. You wanna move? Stay there.
We'll stay here.
Okay. Let's see. Who's range? Okay.
Pastiche doesn't leave this reality yet.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Let's see here. Around the pillar, you can hear footsteps on the wooden bridge, and in the dim light, which is now bright light for you, Pastiche, you can make out the figure of one of your alleyway assailants. They're creeping up, kind of like wringing their hands, and they've got this eerie cackle to them, just kind of like looks around, takes a peek, is going to spot Pastiche, and then the grin gets wider.
Oh no.
And then from the hands that are aimed together, one little index finger like creeps over and points at you. I need you to make an intelligence saving throw, please.
Oh, all right.
When the haters point back.
A 15. All right, that's enough. You can feel from this point, like it makes a certain connection with you, and for a brief moment it latches onto to your desires and your feelings, but you shake it off and just slam up your mind shields, and whatever this creepy dude just did does not take effect. And that's it for his turn. So he's going to move forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still got his torch.
Damn it, Toka.
And
Suddenly, Chuman pops into view.
He's going to look around, ascertain that there are some dudes, and then he's going to nod at you, Chuman. Do not strain yourself.
Chuman looks back. Quit blowing my cover. If you want to help, go on the relief. I have this area.
This area belongs to you indeed. And you can see him crouch down into a squat, and then he jumps. My man lifts himself, launches himself off this bridge. You can see it kind of like bend and wobble from the exertion. You kind of like have to steady yourself, and you fear that it's going to break as as all of the wood creaks from the exertion of muscle. And Toka catapults himself through the air, and he does a really cool boxing move.
Yep.
And he catapults the air, like fist extended, and he lands on the other side of the spike growth. And he slams his fist into the ground. Boom! And then there's a moment, and then the pile bunker goes off. There is a huge cacophony, like caterwaul of explosion mining sounds, and all around him, just the earth churns and explodes and ruptures, and these dudes get to make a dexterity saving throw.
You know, maybe I'm pretty happy we didn't have to fight this guy.
I don't know. I think I like not Zoaz, but I think like I could make that kind of jump.
That soul blade is dead.
Yeah, he's destroyed.
That soul blade is dead.
Kablam.
Boop.
let's see. This one takes half damage. And this one takes full damage. And also he's on the ground. And this is all difficult terrain. When these spires of rock crumble into the ground and just become rubble on the ground, you see Toka, and he just kind of like cocks his pile driver again, just like, and then he goes into a boxer stance, puts his dukes up, and he looks towards the knoll in front of him. This dude's on the ground.
Do it, nerd. Take a swing.
That's about to learn about downstairs really fast.
This dude is on the ground. He's going to get up. Bloop. Stands back up. He's going to... let's see here. He's going to help his buddies, and he's going to try to light Toka up by casting Fairy Fire.
Hey, wait a minute.
Oh, Toka's a light. Wait, no, he's not. I'm stupid. That's the other way around. Toka, maybe he just punches the fairy fire. Like, get this crap out of my face. Which brings us to, let's see here, and then, yeah, which brings us to Chuman. Toka has acquiesced your request. What would you like to do?
Chuman quite a bit shocked from seeing Toka catapult over the spike grove. But quickly gets back to his senses and brings out his longbow to take care of the wizard, mind reader.
Yeah, that's what he looks like.
Mind master.
He does look something of a wizard. He's got this kind of like scraggly beard. He's drooling a little bit. He's just constantly wringing his hands. He's got his hood pulled over, and he's got this kind of like eerie right eye that is glowing vividly with this rosy glow.
Right. Okay, so question before I roll.
Yeah.
Since Toka was around me, do they know that I'm here, or am I still invisible?
You are invisible, so this attack is advantage.
Okay.
Nice, advantage helped. 16 hits.
Alright. And he's gonna do it again, because second attack. Wait. I don't roll. I roll again for it?
Yeah, it's another attack.
Okay.
Nice, 19 hits,
19.
definitely. Cool. Alright, yeah, that hurt. Shink, shink. The arrows go into his legs.
And Chuman's just going to shift a little closer. Wait, that's light over there. Closer to the spike growth, and that's going to be it for his turn.
Okay, Zoaz. There has been a display of mining prowess. And
Mining prowess.
And Chuman has delivered 2 arrows to somebody on the wood platform next to the relief. As the battle unfolds, what would you like to do?
Zoaz is going to swish his staff through the air, and beseech Sone, find his foes, and he's going to cast Hold Person on this Duergar.
Oh, that's a pretty cool idea. Let's see what happens. Oh my goodness. Destroyed.
So, the way this looks is, it's like he's, it's like a very faint sort of, like symbol of the full moon. Just sort of like, how to explain it? It's like a magic symbol shows up over him to like steal him, but it's as if he's caught in the moon, imprisoned within it.
All right, all right. So as he is caught in the moon and chained. What say you, Mitch?
Mitch is just gonna hang out over here.
Okay. All right. As the owl flaps through the darkness, Twig, what would you like to do? You see an opening.
An opening.
Or by an opening, I mean you see this dude getting caught in the moon and stuff. And also took us popping off.
He definitely is.
Does that mean his music is slightly quieter since he's so far away from us?
Yes.
We can't hear his Walkman as well.
Alright, what's up, Twig?
I just need 1 second to make sure this works out.
Okay. You all look up at Twig. You can see him. You can see his eyes darting from foe to foe, from ally to ally, as he's calculating, trying to decipher where he's needed next.
Alright, Twig will bonus action dash again
Okay.
and start scurrying across the bridge.
Okay. So that's 60
Real
feet
bird
of
moment.
And he's going to put the lantern down and take a shot with his short bow at the paralyzed wizard.
Okay. Sure. You kind of like skid across the rope bridge, clamp down with your feet talons, and then this attack is advantage. Or wait, actually, is it
It is at advantage.
all attacks or just close range?
All attacks are at advantage. Close range attacks are crits.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Close range being within 5 feet, if I recall correctly. So not this attack, but
So close.
if say Toka were to take another jump and punch this dude, it would be crit.
Okay, well.
God, I'm
Oh,
at
so a crit
Nice.
anyway.
Yeah, close range, 10 feet.
Yeah, 10
Yeah,
feet.
close range is 10 feet. Tell me how
Call
you
this melee.
tell me how you obliterate this idiot.
I just want to see it first.
Man. Oh, God.
Don't forget your short bow, dude. Yeah.
You'd love to see the double one crit.
Actually said 5 feet? Nah. 10 feet instead.
Okay. I mean, you are the champion of pretty much every game in Tenuta. What would you like to do?
The best shot in Knock Knocks. As Twig skids to a stop, he pulls out his bow and takes all the time he needs to line up the perfect shot right between the eyes, and he looses an arrow into him.
Alright, yeah. Right between the eyes, you calm your breathing, and then line up. This dude's paralyzed. He's held still, partially aloft by the moon glyph. Time slows down as time stops forever for this Duergar. And he bleeds everywhere and stuff. He falls down, and yeah, he's done.
And that's all for Twig.
Alright. This brings us to this Soul Blade. Let's see here. He's going to kind of like whiz and wave his energy sword, I guess. Sword made of light. He's going to bring it to bear against Toka. Hiya! You can hear in Dwarven, anybody that understands Dwarven, Destroy! Kill the beast! A 10 is not gonna hit Toka. He's focused on this null ahead of him, and then he like senses the movement, and then just ducks and like bobs to the left, and just backhands the dude in the face, and the attack is not effective. They only have one attack, so he's done. Which brings us to Xalia.
Xalia is just gonna stay behind the other people and just chug a health potion.
Okay, cool. Pop, glug, 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 glug.
Okay. She has it. She doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah. It is a refreshing cherry flavor. With a hint of tingly magic. As you...
Okay. I hate artificial cherry.
Oh no.
Xalia hate artificial cherry though.
I don't know. Maybe? Let's roll it. On a 1, she hates artificial cherry.
Okay.
She does
She
not
loves
hate
it.
artificial cherry. Yeah. That's neutral on it.
Fair enough.
It's refreshing, and it certainly makes your arrow wound stop hurting. And that's great. Speaking of great, this dude is going to lunge forward and try to attack Toka with this dagger that looks like junk twice. Okay, so what happens is the first one misses, and Toka kind of like in his stance, he's just kind of moving, swaying back and forth as this gnoll rushes forward, and just like a leaping strike, Toka meets him in the air with a punch, like an underhanded punch to the solar, solar plexus, and just, and he's hanging there for a moment. The gnoll's eyes go wide, and then you hear the great noise of a piston going off, and in the last strike, the gnoll is blown way the F back.
Does Noel just get Guilty Gear Strive counter hit?
Yeah, I saw the. I think I saw the letters in the
Counter.
background.
Counter! And
Counter.
let's see here.
Means great.
He takes 14 damage from getting counter hit.
Battle!
He almost had full risk gauge.
Alright, so this gnoll is catapulted with the force of a pile bunker, just blam! Stops him short of his lunge forward, and he's trying to like scrape and slash against the gauntlet, but he's too well protected on his forearms, and then just with this mining equipment slams him back through the air. He kind of like bounces off the ceiling and then catapults down across the other side of the mining cart, and he is on the ground, like kind of like when he lands, he kind of like reels and like moves a bit before just resting. And you can see Toka kind of like limber up. He's looking around. You better come at me all at once. This one over here. Bloop, 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 bloop. Let's see here. Twig, you can see a gnoll run around from outside. Sorry, from around the from the wooden bridge, and that's 6. Here we go. He is actually like you can see that he does not have a bow or anything like that in his hands. Instead, in his hands is this kind of dull energy glow, and he sees you, runs up to you, or runs up, kind of like where he is, runs up a good distance away from you, and then you can see the crackle begin to form in the fingertips, and thrusts his palms at you. This lightning crackles around, and I need you to make a strength saving throw
Oh no.
as it threatens to grab around you and restrain you. Woo! Alright. It grabs and like lassos you for a bit, but you just flex with your heroic Kenku body, and you break the lightning energy that was wrapping around you. Well done. Which brings us to this dude. Let's see here. This one is going to shoot twice at. Toka. 20 will hit. Both of those will hit. Let's see if we can actually deal damage to the Minotaur. Kinda. Alright.
Yeah, just 11.
Alright, which brings us to Makayla.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's in range. Let's chuck some stones, I guess. Yeah, she'll just like start, you know, throwing the other 2 magic stones at the Null Hunter by Twig.
Okay.
Ba-doop.
That'll hit. 11 barely misses.
Darn. Alright, well, I just needed 1.
Ouch.
10
damage.
Give me a strength saving throw.
LOL.
Ah,
16.
darn. Oh, alright. I guess that's my turn. Well, I guess I'll bonus action. Ready more stones. But yeah.
Okay. Which brings us to Pastiche.
Pastiche is just staring, mouth agape, across the pit at Toka's display. Takes a few seconds, steps out of it, and shouts, "They're all yours!" before retreating in the opposite direction.
Alright.
And that's my turn.
Okay. This one here. Let's see. Toka's going to... hit this dude that's bothering him. Oh, yeah. He whirls around and slams a straight blow right into this dude's face.
Oh.
Sends him cascading into the spike growth, and he takes extra 2d4s from that.
It takes 4 to 54.
Right. Oh, sorry, 10 feet. Yeah. Go ahead and roll me 44. It's your spike growth.
Owie.
Okay. This dude's done.
No way.
Oh, he died twice.
dead. And also, when these soul blades perish, the sword that they're holding, that it appears like they're just emanating from their hands, it just evaporates and just kind of disperses into sparkles. As this dude skids through the spike growth, Toka wastes no time, and he charges towards this knoll. This one is going to get an attack of opportunity. He's going to bite him.
He's not like
Oh, the bite hits.
half his size.
It's gonna bite out of his ankles.
Hey, gnolls are pretty tall. They're like 7 foot. I mean,
are
hunched and they're a
these?
little bit shorter. But
But are they 7 feet?
yes, they're gnolls!
And he lowers his head, and he just bashes him with his horns. An 18 will hit. And as he levels his head and like rises it up against the knoll, Minotaurs have a special ability where if they hit you with a gore attack after moving, so extra bad stuff happens.
No way.
Yeah, that looks like some bad stuff.
Okay, let's
Chill.
see here.
Stop! He's already dead!
Alright, so he is dead actually. And from the onslaught of a rampaging bull just impacting into the knoll, with his horns blowing him back away, sending him slamming against the wall here. Just blammo! And also he's proud.
Hey kids, want to see a dead body?
And Toka takes a couple steps, kind of limbers up, puts his dukes back up, guarding, and takes a couple like shuffling steps towards this knoll that's on the ground.
No.
This one is going to try to save. Well, here. This one's going to try to save his friend by pulling Toka away. Let's see if Toka can make a strength save.
I don't know.
Not a chance.
Yeah, it's pretty close, I think. You know, just 12 over.
There's this crackling of lightning twig that you can see, very similar to the one that was used on you. It shoots towards Toka, towards this Minotaur, tries to wrap around him. Toka actually just grabs the lightning, then yanks it out of the Knoll's hands, and he's done. And then, fearfully, this Knoll like takes a couple like steps away and like moves across the rock, and like kind of like moving back out of like what in the world is this dude? And he steps on the spike growth and
Oh no! Poor guy.
only 44.
He's gonna.
Oh, he just kept going.
Wait. Would he be stepping on the other Noah's body or the soul's body? Because technically, I'll be 64.
We'll say he's like stepping on an old body and like trips, and then well, it's 2d4 per thing. He dies. He only has 2
Yeah.
HP. Oh my goodness, he took so much from it anyway. He like trips and falls more on the spike growth and just. Alright, which brings us to Zoaz. There's trouble on the bridge, and there's trouble over on the other side of the minecart, and there's different varieties of trouble.
Yeah, I think Zoaz is gonna stop paying attention to what's happening over past the minecart to not have to witness that massacre, and instead is going to try to take a pot shot at the knoll near Twig with Guiding Bolt, and it whips. He has to try and curve the Guiding Bolt around the bridge, sort of, and like upwards, and it's just too much. He's not used to it, and it just sails past him and dissipates into the darkness.
Sails past him, boom, boom, boom. You can hear the explosions against the ceiling. Little rock dust falls. You want to move or stay there?
I think Zoaz is going to take a hint from what's happening over across the bridge and follow Pastiche's lead.
Okay, which brings us to Mitch. What would Mitch like to do?
Mitch is gonna descend to the ground and set up camp.
Okay.
Mitch is chilling.
The owl flies down, lands on the ground, kind of like looks around, Hoots starts preening. Which brings us to Xalia. You feel much better after downing that health potion.
Oh, there were gnolls upstairs. I don't know how. I don't know how much she cares at this point. I think she's just gonna start walking along the edge because she can.
Walking along
It's literally on the side of it.
Okay. So you're just on the side of it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Is there anything visible or around?
Let's see. You know what? There actually is,
Okay.
Xalia. There is something here. You know, like as you're, as you lose interest in the melee, you begin wandering around and looking, and as you go over the lip of this hole and go over the edge. And you start looking around. You're able to see it because it's gleaming in the different light. And Twig's hooded lantern that he sets down, or that he has sit down next to where you are. It's a it's a combination of very fortunate situations. You do manage to see. Did we skip Twig's turn?
Yeah, I think so. I'm after Mitch.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I know what happened. Mitch hit end turn, and then then I hit next. But we'll get to you right away, Twig.
Yep, no problem.
Sorry about that. Genuinely sorry. So Xalia, Twig's lantern, as he has set it down, it sends the light down in such a way that it actually is gleaming on a set of steel that's embedded in the rock. It's sort of sparkly. It seems overall silver in color. You can go over to it. It takes like 5-10 feet of movement. It's just right there, like underneath the lip. There is.
Grab it.
Yeah, it's something of a grappling hook. It looks very very stylized, very ornate. But it's definitely still fully functional. It's shiny steel and silvered, and it's just embedded in here.
Is it attached to a rope going down, or?
It is attached to a rope going down. The rope is also very fine. It's an extremely well-made piece of grappling hook.
Is the rope taut?
No, it is slack.
Then she's gonna do this.
Okay. It's pretty stuck in there. Give me a strength check.
Oh, strength. Oh no.
I swear the strength checks are kind of like way better than they should be.
Better than my attack rolls.
She simply just makes her arm stronger when she needs to make it stronger.
Yeah, clearly.
She's
make
simply
more.
different.
Huh?
Yeah.
She just reinforces her bone.
You take this thing and just with some wedging and then some exertion, just you now have in your possession a Cliffwalker Strider. It counts as a grappling hook.
Cool.
Which
Is
brings
that
us.
something I need to put in, or will you?
It's now
Okay.
in your inventory.
Okay.
Which brings us to Twig. Twig,
Alright.
what would you like to do?
After shaking off the lightning, he's gonna get back in that same crouched position he was a moment ago and take aim at the other to shock him.
Okie dokie. Go ahead. Crouch down. Take deft aim, and then yeah, that absolutely hits.
I wanted the second 20.
Oh, I think you hit the attack roll twice instead of the damage roll.
I did. Yeah, I thought 13 was kind of weird.
No, wait a minute.
Better man.
That's enough to do
That's
it.
more like it.
As you defeat this gnoll, tell me what happens. Whoops. There you go.
Oh no!
Go
I
back.
fell off the-
The force of the short bow shot catapults you.
After hitting the knoll with the arrow, he stumbles back and trips over the corpse of his buddy and falls on the ground defeated.
He absolutely does. Blah. He kind of slinks down. Blah. Let's see here. The only one left is this gnoll that's on the ground with Toka standing over him. I think you guys know what happens. We'll go ahead and end the combat. We wrap it up as Toka picks up this gnoll by he's trying to scoot backwards. Toka grabs him by the ankle and just nonchalantly, unceremoniously, just whoop, throws him into the bottomless pit, goes. You can hear like the cackling and chuckling all the way down, and echoes around. And he's not there anymore. Toka returns to you. You just stop concentrating on it. I think it's concentration.
It's concentration.
Don't worry about the template too much. I don't
Is
think.
it? Yeah, it is concentration. Concentration means that you're just concentrating on the spell. For it to exist, or whatever effect that's happening, you have to like focus your mind on it. You can concentrate on one thing at a time. And whenever you get hit, you have to make a concentration check, which is a Constitution saving throw.
Right.
So to remove the spike growth, since you no longer need it, you just stop thinking about it. And then let's see here. So Toka waits at the edge of the spike growth. You can see him kind of like limbering up and checking his gauntlets, making sure his pile drivers are there and unhurt, and waits for you to drop your spell. And he pushes the button on his device, and the the regular music comes back.
Haley is tossing her new toy to herself repeatedly. She might actually toss it at some walls. And then she's definitely at least once going to try to toss it at a wall, tie it down, and then spider climb up the...
Wait. Sorry. So exactly this. Xalia.
Alright, so Xalia, as you all kind of like collect yourselves and come back together, you can see that Xalia, especially in the torchlight that Toka brings back, Xalia has herself a very fashionable grappling hook. It's something like a 4-pronged claw, and tied to it is a double braided, dark colored, kind of like lacquered rope. It's shiny and silvered. Looks to be made of steel. You can see Xalia is kind of like tossing it to herself. It's lightweight, but strong and durable, Xalia. And it's sharp, and it easily pierces any kind of rock. And then, like in a manner of how it, of how you tug on it, it also creates itself a sort of like notch that it can grab onto. So it very easily hooks into whatever surface as well. It's pretty nice.
Makayla just like looked over the edge, and just kind of chuckled at the sort of uselessness of a grappling hook for someone who's literally standing on the wall.
She's gonna grappling hook at least once from the walls of the floor.
Ah, yes, the just cause approach.
Yeah.
Because, you know, grappling hooking to the ground makes you take no fall damage, right?
Yeah. Clearly.
Okay, but Makayla will sort of look around and actually say, like, well, that went a lot better than it probably should have, if I'm being honest.
I have not been able to have an opponent other than something other than the beaked beasts down here in some time. I've been itching for a fight, but a bloody punching bag is not a rival.
Well, I suppose if they're trying to kill us, we are going in the right direction. I guess we should continue, right? And with that,
Indeed.
Makayla will now like sort of step out of Toka's light and like realize she's not actually in a lit, like there's no lighting that she can see. because she's now kind of like realizing that it's like not a combat. She can question what happens in combat. You know, it's like I guess in like combat mode, but now it's like it hits her like she passes Zoaz, she sort of turns to you and says, you granted me sight?
In a manner of speaking, but I prefer to think of it as Selene sharing her blessing with those I deem allies. It is not me per se, but her.
Makayla kind of like has. God, how would I even describe it? She kind of like rubs her eyes, like blinks and like rubs her eyes, and is, like has sort of a look of like she's very like she's impressed. Like even in my youth, I didn't have vision like this. This is incredible. Definitely beats blundering about in the darkness. Thank you.
Yeah. Do not mention it. It is high time that I shared some of the blessings she gives me with you all.
Perhaps I chose the wrong god. She does it in a very like, just kind of chuckles after that. And just sort of walks forward. Now, not needing to stand by Toka.
Yeah, Twig's like, that'd be nice.
Alright. Anybody else? Doing anything else?
Twig is gonna walk down to the group, shout over to Toka. You said these two paths meet up at the end, right?
That's right. If you head north, there is another bridge, and we can meet there.
Twig nods and says, I'll take this one. I'll meet you guys on the other side. And then he's gonna start walking around and see if there's anything interesting on the two bodies here.
Xalia is going to grapple hook up and join him.
I do need a dexterity check for the grapple hook.
Okay.
Yeah, easy enough. You throw your grapple hook. Its quality allows you to make this feat rather simply, and you can get up and move up towards Twig.
She's actually going to remain on the underside of it, though, and do her best to stand directly under Twig.
Okay, you are now Twig's reflection underneath the wood platform. Twig, I need a investigation check from you, as the rest of the party moves around the gap and heads towards the destination. You move across the like another bridge section where it is where the cave floor has been either collapsed or it wasn't there in the first place, where they just laid a bridge over. There's the creek. Each time took a steps, and you can see that he's a little scratched up, but otherwise.
As we're moving along,
yes?
Pastiche is like stepping just slightly in front of Toka, awkwardly making eye contact, but not really saying anything.
Okay. Make a general charisma check.
Alright.
Okay. As you're moving, we'll get to that. Twig, you're checking out these dudes.
Yep.
Let's see here. From the Duergar dude, you can see like he's got like a bit of in his beard towards his mouth. it's a bit of a darker color, sort of like a bronze or rusty color. Let's see, you got a 19. You can ascertain that it's definitely like something that spilled over into his mouth, so like it drooled out. Definitely, perhaps something was not right with this guy, because as you investigate a little further, you ascertain that it is like he must have been bleeding from the mouth, and it just dried into his beard. But it's long since this originally occurred. Any sane person would have washed it out by now, probably. But in his belongings, roll me a d100. And you find let's see here, a 5. You find of course you find his robes, this just short-statured, stocky, wide-set robes that he's definitely wearing. The glow in his eye is no longer there. Make sure to check that out, because that was definitely interesting. And you find on his person a very small box, like maybe about 4 inches on each side, a little cube. It's made out of bronze, and it's got a lid. It doesn't feel very heavy, but you can definitely you definitely feel that there's something in it. As far as the null, as far as the null, I need a Constitution saving throw from you and no, not Xalia, from you.
Not again.
You have the Orb of Warding now.
I do. I don't have it in my hand.
Does that stop orbs of flashbangs?
Alright, so Twig, a few moments later, and then you can see the light kind of like poking through this hyena person's body, and then at the last moment you realize what's going on, and you bring your wing to cover your eyes, and explodes in a flash of light. And then in its place is a sort of dead gray crystal. It has nowhere to roll this time because it's not on a moving platform. And so you can get we'll say, a gray crystal. You pick it up, touch it. It's initially very cold, more so than like room temperature would be down here. So yeah, you put gray crystal. It's slightly rhomboid, but like elongated.
Okay.
And you also have the bronze box. And you can choose to open it, or you can just keep it.
I'm gonna hold the orb of shielding in one hand and then open the box with.
Okay. With trepidation, you remove the lid of the bronze box, and it's a curious sight. In here is a wooden object. It is a tiny wooden owl, maybe about as big as your index finger. It's just a tiny carved wooden owl. Its features are somewhat detailed, and it's just like this big blue kind of like horned. I said blue. This big like wooden horned owl.
Cool.
Lean, but yeah, it's just a small little figurine. And then bringing all these things together, you look around. You feel a presence around you. Then you notice Xalia standing upside down beneath you.
Yep.
Twig looks as he's going through the bodies. He looks down at Xalia through the cracks in the wood, and just like
She's just mirroring you. She'd actually change her null skull face to a twig skull face.
Twig like cocks his head to one side and then the
She's
other,
gonna mirror it.
and then slowly waves down to Xalia.
Make a performance. See how well she's mirroring this.
Sure.
The classic bit.
Damn, she's doing okay.
It's not bad.
Yeah, you can tell if you really think about it.
After this this exchange, Twig, you with your hooded lantern next to you, you can also see this relief, and you can examine that it's like this skull with a crown on its head, like this bony-faced individual with this stringy hair going everywhere. He's got bony hands spread out across many stick figures with coins kind of showering from the sky.
Sorry, was that for me?
That was for Twig.
No, that was...
Okay. Sorry, I was kind of zoned out.
And let's see here. The rest of the gang. Oh, sorry. Pastiche. Let's see here. Toka notices you being a little awkward. Or sorry, like kind of like awkwardly walking in front of him and like casting glances at him, and he lets it go for a little while, but then, what is it?
Did you, do you need... Pastiche pauses for a moment before reaching into a sack, pulling out a potion of healing.
He puts up a hand to kind of like stop you. It's like, no, I am fine. Those weaklings could not hope to scratch me. Conserve your strength. We may need it.
Pastiche's eyes kind of widen. As you wish.
You get the sense that he is kind of like being brave, but it's like the I've done this before brave.
Uh-huh.
It's like, whatever, man, kind of thing. It is the braveness of like an injured athlete, kind of. That's what you can ascertain.
I getcha.
So he brings you guys to the opening here. This opening is covered in rocks. Definitely the telltale signs of a collapse, where there was a cave-in. Toka mutters, "This must be where it happened. I heard that a unfortunate person was caught underneath the rocks here."
Makayla kind of just frowns. How long ago was this?
The news reached me not too many days ago. It was recent. I had heard that they were retrieved, and they did not make it. Operations were put to a halt. This. I
But
heard
beyond
that
this... Oh, sorry. continue.
the news was that it was definitely an accidental cave-in where one of the supports was weakened when we were doing excavation down here. But the report stopped making sense there and I threw it out.
Stopped making sense.
There were more details, but they all seemed to conflict. It just smacked of inexperience. see now he's moving forward, and he draws one of the spheres that he had been repairing in his home, and he taps a couple things on it, and it begins drawing a looks like a symbol on the rocks ahead. It glows with orange as it continues more strokes, and then he's just standing there, arms folded, waiting.
So, beyond these rocks, whatever they're looking for?
It must be. Beyond these rocks is the collapse of this particular mine shaft, where I was attacked, is later down in the next area. It connects to the hole in the back, or behind us. It goes up and down the entire way. So naturally, we curved around it since we have no way to reliably get down without harming ourselves. We'll be able to clear this in a few moments when the excavation sphere finishes its explosion glyph, or excavation glyph.
Should we back away?
You may if you are scared, but the purpose of the flint that you got me is what is the material that I needed to reinforce its absorption of shock and kinetic energy.
Makayla will trust that, and
Zoaz definitely backs away.
Twig motions to Xalia and says, "Come on, you're gonna miss the explosion."
I'll just keep. I mean, she's gonna keep trying to mirror Twig, and then once we get here, she'll scrabble up and just kind of wave at him and go.
Okay.
He's gonna hop and quickly run forward.
We'll follow.
All right. The glyph finishes, and the sphere sends forward like a little forked mechanism, and attaches itself and kind of like drills into the rock a bit. Toka looks around, perhaps back up a few steps so that you are simply not in my way. And he moves forward, and he, for lack of a better word, cocks his pile driver, and he positions himself in such a manner where he appears that he's about to strike it, and then he does. He, with a blur of motion, he brings his fist forward and punches the sentinel, or punches the excavation sphere directly on it. And then there's also another brief moment, and then there's the aftershock where the pile driver juts forward with his piston, and then slams into the sphere, which slams into the excavation glyph, and then there is a huge explosion of kinetic energy and some like brief flash fires. It's all absorbed into the sphere, and you can see kind of like this kind of like weird brief magical like effect where it just catches all of the bursting fire and energy and just drags it into itself. And then when everything clears and there's nothing blocking your view anymore, you can see cascaded dusted rock, and at Toka's feet a broken sphere. The way forward is clear.
Such strength.
This one is not particularly me. It is the strength of the excavation glyph. This is the real way to mine.
Seems efficient, but somewhat wasteful. She sort of just kind of like pokes the, I guess, remains of the glyph. with the staff.
The corpse.
Yeah. Rather
Indeed.
inefficient to destroy these every time I have to break down some rocks.
You have a point, but that is also why I have trained myself to be a good repairman. Not only can I repair these, which is necessary each time, but I have found myself able to tinker and repair many other things. If it came from a sparker, which these did, I can fix it. Perhaps one day we'll be able to make a new variety of these that will not break after a single attempt. And with this, he draws another sphere from his gear. This one is a shimmery, dusty gold color. He holds it out for a moment, kind of like looks at you, and then he puts it back.
Okay. Sure. Makayla now sort of, I guess, nod, and then turn towards the hole that was just punched into this wall. Is it like so it's just there's like now just a big sort of gap
Yeah.
in the rocks?
Yeah, with the rocks cleared, the rest of the mine shaft is revealed, and it is definitely an already excavated mine shaft that has a gentle slope downwards. The minecart rails pick up a bit. You can see some minecarts that are blasted to the side against the walls, and you are all able to proceed forward.
I think Makayla would be like using mold earth just to like move any stray kind of like rocks, like pieces of explosive sort of that would be like lining the way, not blocking, but like making it less easy to walk through, like making an easier path, I guess.
The debris. Getting rid of it.
Clearing the debris.
Yeah. And that, coupled with Chuman's heightened awareness of being underground, you're all able to make good time. The difficulty of the slope with the rubble of the collapse is easily overcome with Chuman's expertise, and Makayla's helping to kind of like clear a path.
She'd be like holding her staff like a broom and like like doing like a brooming motion to like clear anything in her path.
Okay. Let's see here. Toka, on the way, he'll explain these ruins, this secret that they wish to keep to themselves, that they wish to keep buried. I was not able to see much, but to me, now I am not trained, to me it looked like something of a temple from the outside. I could not get a good look at it, but since that's where we're headed, my curiosity will also be satisfied. Up ahead, there is another collapse. The one that triggered from the creature that rose from the water. And you arrive. You guys are maneuvering down this mine shaft, and you arrive at the stated collapse of rock. It's just huge boulders of rubble that seem like they are cascaded down. The collapse seems that it was formed from the outside rather than like anything of the current mine shaft breaking down. So it's something above was destroyed. Draws another silvery sphere, and he presses a few motions on it, and it is drawing another glyph. The bright neon orange being drawn on the rocks ahead. You have a minute or so amongst yourselves.
Wait, so is this a different one than
Yeah,
the one he
we're-
just
we're
showed
using
up?
Theory of the Mind for this one.
No, I meant of the
Different area.
automata. No, automata, like
oh, yes,
the
it is a different one. Yeah,
So not the gold one.
yeah. You get the sense that he has
Okay.
several of these on him.
Oh, okay. Have you ever, outside of the arming process, would there ever be some consideration in using these as weapons? Seem rather destructive. Makayla would say to Toka.
Yeah. Make a persuasion check.
Sure. She'd continue. If you gave her a look. So you said persuasion?
Yeah, he gives you a look.
Oof. She'd continue. Just mention a giant beast or creature from the deep. Seems, well, they seem very, very effective. Just wondering perhaps if that would be at all part of your plan to deal with said creature if we encounter it.
Your reasoning brings him around, and he mentions he kind of snorts just out of his big bull nostrils. They are capable of combat. They must be able to defend themselves while unattended from the natural beasts that lurk in the darkness of caverns. They are capable of assaulting another creature, if that's what you are asking, but it is not in my current plan to use them against a mobile creature. It takes some time for them to write an excavation glyph, which of course is their primary use, but they are capable of lashing out and drilling into things that would harm it, or their operator. They're useful in that once they latch on to a creature, they continue drilling and bore holes. We found that to be most effective, if a bit gruesome. But given their capabilities, he kind of gestures, gives off the sense that it's just a ball. That seemed to be all that we were able to outfit it with.
Just, I was curious, maybe some way to prioritize speed of the arming, and maybe some way to activate it at a distance. Michaela's just sort of lost in thought, trying to think of ways to utilize it.
Toka is listening to you. You do get the sense that he's not dismissing anything that you're saying, and he's just
She's no sparker, so she can't. She doesn't have the technical knowledge, but just sort of the the logic behind it.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyone else while these two are having a conversation?
Bailey is really in her own world right now.
Chuman's getting a look around the area before Toka explodes another wall.
Okay, make me a perception check or an investigation check, your choice.
Pastiche is still just hanging out a little bit too close to Toka, watching intently.
Okay. Let's see. Chuman, as you're looking around, just kind of moving your hand across the rock, it's a familiar sense, and it kind of puts a side of you to ease. You're survival instincts and like your hunting instincts are definitely like you feel that you're on high alert, like you can't calm down. And something does catch your eye. On the ground, it looks like there's a like a little rock or something on the ground. And you move over to it, perhaps suspecting a gemstone. And it seems to be just like a little kind of chipped piece of quartz. Nothing more.
Gonna pocket that and observe Toka continue to break the wall down, or the rubble
Okay.
instead of wall. I'm saying wall.
All right.
So
Toka.
it's a wall of rubble.
Yeah, wall of rubble.
Yeah.
The glyph finishes, and Toka sets the sphere, and he takes a similar stance. And then he kind of looks around, and you can see like this kind of like weird grin. And then he takes a stance more befitting of an athlete, more befitting of a boxer. And then he kind of like gives the air a couple jabs. You can see him kind of loosening up. And then
Makayla rolls her eyes.
and then he does a rolling, kind of like spinning hook punch towards the sphere. And chung, gagoosh goes the pile bunker, and there is a similar explosion, just kaboom, fire going everywhere, energy going anywhere. You can feel like the heat of the explosion flash across your faces, and for a moment it feels like it is going to engulf you, but the invention holds fast, and you all are protected from the worst of it, and it drags all of the fire energy and kinetic energy into it and breaks. Toka collects the pieces, pockets them, and finally you are at the current bottom of the mine shaft. As you look out, and the DM places your characters in the next map, because he didn't know how you were going to arrive in here. One sec. Let's see. As you look out with Toka's torch, you can see that water spills everywhere across the floor of this cavern. Let's see, 40, 20, boop. And let me get the torch. Actually, wait, just kidding. Toka's gonna come right back. Soup. Soup, there he is. Water spills everywhere across the floor of this cavern section. There is a waterfall cascading to the south, just cascading into this water, and pulls and crashes into rocks underneath it, and it is pulling up in this little section. You all can move forward, and then you're in maybe like a foot of standing water here, as you have to wade through. There's stalagmites jutting up from the pool as you move forward. Rocks, cavern wall. It's this jagged section. And to the north looks like a crumbling alcove. You look up, and you can see that there is an endless ceiling. So this must be what Toka was mentioning, where this kind of like shaft, this hole is connected. And here you are at the in this pool, in about a foot of water. You can see, yeah, rocks, cavern walls, stuff like that. Anything anybody immediately wants to do?
Would my lantern still be going?
Your lantern would still be going. Or this is
Yeah.
technically a different one, so let's see here. 60, 30. There you go, sir.
Thank you.
Chuman is still on high alert, so of course he's gonna look as soon as he gets the chance to see inside.
Okay, throw me a perception check. Nice. Okay. Chuman, as you step into this pool area, you like there's this stalactite right in front of you, and you just kind of like reach out, grab it, kind of like pull yourself around it, just maneuvering easily through this cavern section, as if it were always your home, and just stepping easily around, jumping from kind of like popping out rock everywhere. You take a look, and of course there's the giant waterfall to the south. You do notice an unusual pile of rocks over to the east, and it looks a little weird. And you in your dark vision, and also Toka and Twig's light, you can see like the gleam of steel on the ground. And also, you can see a curious little critter. You look around, and you can see swimming through the water, just slithering at the top of the water through this kind of like... the water's also kind of like murky and mucky, but at the top you can see just slithering is a snake-like creature with 2 heads, and it is heading towards the rock. Yeah. And then, of course, to the north, this is before you see that thing. To the north, you can see what looks like a sort of like a crumbling ruined structure. There appears to be pottery just hanging out. You can also see that the floor of the cavern changes a little bit further up ahead as well. So that's what's going on. What would you like to do in reaction to this, Chuman?
Chuman is gonna pull out his hand crossbow, and he's actually gonna shoot it
Okay.
while walking to the ground, out of the water.
Oh no.
Okay, make an attack roll.
Snakes.
Alright, a 15 will hit.
Goodbye, snakes.
4 damage, alright. Let's see here. Alright, yeah, it didn't like that. But in response to your crossbow shot, just grazing into it, it hurts and wounds it, and it actually looks back, sees your group, it makes a large hiss, just and then from each head, and moves to skitter deeper into the ruins.
Pastiche hits back as it leaves.
Make an intimidation check, Snake.
Hey,
You
where's
got
your
it.
token?
What do you mean, where is it?
I think underneath.
Underneath some
Is
You
that-
are definitely invisible on my screen.
It's underneath,
Oh.
yeah.
Weird.
Sneaky.
Well, more
Yeah, there
so
it
than
is,
that,
yeah.
he's just straight up invisible on my screen.
Xalia was doing
underneath
tricks,
the-
that's what it was.
Yeah, I'll reload.
Okay. You assert your dominance, and this 2-headed snake skitters further into the ruins, and you can see it. Anybody that can see it sees it turn out of sight and head east.
As Makayla's eyes kind of follow, sort of look upon the the ruins. Does the, I guess, like, architecture of it, look, there's enough of that's not just like, it's not just the regular stone. Like, there's the door, right? There's like
Yeah.
a whole entrance.
Uh,
There's like enough architecture there to make it like enough to be recognizable as something, if there is anything to recognize.
Yeah, it looks vaguely temple-like. The walls have definitely seen some years. It looks like an actual structure. And there's in the very make a history check, or
Yeah.
make a history check or a religion check.
I should check which one's better. Yeah, I was asking effectively, like, would Makayla have ever seen something similar anywhere? Let's see. So history or religion?
Yes.
Alright. History it is.
There's something just vaguely, very far away, slightly familiar about this. It's like something you've seen before, maybe in like a dream, or like there's a memory that you can no longer vividly recall. It's like that, like a.
Does it at all? Oh.
It's like that certain, or it's like that particular uncertain memory about it.
Sure. Does it at all resemble the sort of the architecture of the temple that was like on the floating islands that we
yeah, somewhat.
that was like we first went into?
Yeah, you could probably decide that that's the case. Yes. It is similar in like temple structure.
Okay, but not like in terms of temples. Okay, that's fair enough. So this is it. Makayla would say that this is as far as you all got, or did you go any further?
You can see Toka's kind of like on his guard. He's got his gauntlets up. He's looking around. That is correct. It was here that we were attacked. He's kind of like looking at the waterfall. Looks over at the various rocks and stalagmites. He takes a couple steps forward in the middle of the pool. He like looks over at the like this alcove to the east. He's like looking behind him.
Said it came from the water?
That is true. If anyone is being quizzical about this, go ahead and give me a perception check, anybody that would be looking around.
Sure. $26. Oh my god.
Dang! Dang!
It said I used up mine.
Let's see here. So, Makayla, you look around. Twig, you look around. Chuman, you look around. Chuman, you might be a little focused in a giddy sense about the temple up ahead. Makayla, Makayla and Twig, you're looking back at Toka, and you get the sense that there is something amiss in the room that you're about to leave. Twig, through a brief kind of like break in how the water falls of the waterfall, you can see illuminated with your hooded lantern, and also where Toka is, you can see that there might be something behind there. And Makayla, there is an unusual formation of rocks to the east, around like where Toka's casting a wary glance, where there's a like shining glisten of steel on the ground.
Like here? Or like in the water?
Yeah, there.
Oh, in that, like
around
also?
there anyway, yeah.
Mhm.
And then for a moment you swear you think it moves.
The steel?
No, the rocks.
Oh, the rocks, okay. Okay, would take like a much more ready stance
Okay.
and said it took a. Did you see the creature attack you?
Yes.
In a somewhat hushed tone.
Yes. It whispered at us that we were intruding. It looked vaguely like a lithe human, but something was wrong with its face. That's the last I got of it.
Whisper.
While this is happening, Twig motions towards the waterfall and tells the rest of the group there might be something behind there.
Something or someone?
Would there be any way for me to, like, if I'm closer, to investigate and see if I can tell exactly what it is?
No, it was like as you move forward and you wade through the waterfall, it gets a little bit deeper here. The waterfall is definitely coming down hard. It was a sheer stroke of luck that you were able to see through like a break in the water as it just temporarily fell away from itself and then reformed later. The water's coming down hard, so you're not able to kind of like see more or anything like that, and it's too foamy to see if anything else comes down.
Twig is gonna glance at his lantern and then glance at the waterfall and then turn around and say, anybody feel like checking it out?
Pastiche is going to move towards the waterfall, and Mitch will take off.
Whoa.
In the middle of all that, Chuman reloads the hand crossbow and then pulls out his longbow.
Alright. Let's see here. Give me a Constitution check for the owl. Because he's flying through a waterfall. Let's see. So Mitch moves forward and he goes to fly through it, and then just is slammed down against the floor of the waterfall, and is
Oh no.
very fortunately not dashed against the rocks and stalagmites and like spike formations of like erosion over time underneath it, and he is able to kind of like buffet himself backwards and come out and not just immediately poof because he is an owl.
Mitch backs away from the waterfall, shakes off a bunch of water.
Zoaz is going to cast, or try to cast Fairy Fire in what he would imagine would be like the space behind the waterfall, if there was one. Is that possible?
Within range is out. It doesn't say you have to see it, so yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So he like waves his staff, and it sort of like glittery dust descends and sort of passes through the waves and outlines whatever is behind the waterfall.
Okay. Let's see here. Each object in a 20-foot cube. Yeah, okay. So,
My assumption is that it doesn't make it like super clear, but it's possible to like vaguely see what's behind there.
yeah. There are a couple outlines of success of your fairy fire. There's something behind this waterfall. The way they're kind of arranged is all like just thin, like it glows through the waterfall. So like you, of course, you get the sense that your spell succeeds because that's how spells work. And as far as like seeing through the waterfall, it does glow off enough where they're kind of like just all clumped together. So there's many objects. And they're all outlined in the lovely light of Selene.
Am I able to tell if there's any movement from these objects?
They are not moving.
Okay. Zoaz is going to say, I believe Twig was correct. There is certainly something hidden here. And is going to start making his way over. Wading into the deeper water.
Okay. You wade into the deeper water, you're up against the waterfall. It's cascading down, you can feel a cool spray across your scales.
Before, well, this doesn't really matter now, but Kayla would have casted her innate detect magic
Okay.
to try and scan, do like a quick ocular scan of like that way, clockwise down the space, starting at like the alcove that she saw something, or that Toka was kind of looking at.
Yeah, okay, so you do sense the presence of magic in this little alcove. And then you do sense the presence of magic behind the waterfall if you were to take a few steps forward and stuff like that, because I imagine you would.
Oh yeah, within 30 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, so you sense the presence of magic over here in this little alcove that Toka is kind of like wary at, and Chuman and yourself and Twig saw this kind of like patch of rocks that are just boulders. Looks like they fell. And then you can sense magic behind the waterfall.
Is for what's behind the for what's behind the waterfall? Is it just fairy fire that I'm sensing, or would I be able to tell if it's
you sense the fairy fire, of course, but you can also sense what objects the fairy fire is outlining.
Okay. Okay. Just see faint auras. All right. I'm gonna use Mage Hands, and have the spectral vulture kind of just like peck at whatever is giving off the aura in sort of the alcove by the rocks, not the waterfall.
All right. To kind of like move the rocks.
So it's coming from like below the rocks?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess like try and is mold earth concentration? It's not. Yeah, I guess it'd be like some form of combination between like mold earth and Mage Hands. Like get it, let it sort of create some sort of opening that it could try and pry whatever is giving up the aura out.
Okay. As you begin doing this, first of all, it succeeds. As you begin doing this, you pry more and more, and it looks like you're uncovering clothing. It looks like a sort of dark brown, kind of like tapered frayed, frayed piece of fabric, and as you continue going, is the objective to kind of like excavate everything?
Just try and get like enough to get a view of like what's there. So is it like clothes, or is it like there's a body underneath that clothing?
Right. At first you see like clothing and the pieces of fabric turn into like, piece together, and you realize that it's something of a shawl, or like kind of like an over mantle. You can see, pants, and you can see that there's a creature under here. You keep going, and you uncover definitely a creature's body. It's a person. This person has like a pair of goggles, kind of like on their or hooked up on their forehead. They've got a kind of neckerchief all around. That's oh my goodness, I'm describing this all wrong. Sort of like a muffler, kind of around, going over their shawl, and then you can see an unconscious mouse next to her fallen and discarded grappling hook.
Kayla would sort of approach somberly. She'd inspect the body, I guess.
Make a medicine check. Or investigation, whichever you like. Whatever you're after.
I think medicine, I think, is the intention. Where is it? Yes.
All right.
20.
A 20 is pretty good. So you realize that it is your acquaintance Mouse, and moving through the water, waiting, and then stepping down to her and just checking her vital signs. You put a couple fingers to her throat and just kind of like touch her and feel it all over. She is alive, but barely. She is unconscious. She's definitely out of it, not there. She's badly cut up, and of course bludgeoned by the rocks from overhead. But there is a very faint, very labored rise and fall of her chest.
Makayla would very quickly, she'd let out a breath that she would have been, I guess, holding as she moved up, and then very quickly snap to Zoaz and sort of command, healing. We need healing now.
Oh, actually, sorry. Before that happens, Makayla, you roll a 20 on your medicine check. You can also discover faint, weird residue, kind of like mixed in with her blood, and just on her arms and on her chest. It's familiar to the residue that you saw on Kit Lolly, the young master of Orion.
The residue that then exploded, and the residue.
The residue that was on the kid.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. This was the residue that was on the lock. That was the trap, and then Twig got. Yeah, the residue... That poisoned her. Yeah. It's poison. Okay. This is what you're saying. I get it. She's badly hurt and been poisoned. Do you have anything?
Zoaz is going to rush over. I'm afraid I do not have much, but I can do my best, and he's going to cast Lesser Restoration on her to... Oh, did that not go off? No, it did. To try and remove the poison.
Okay. Yeah. So you reach out and
Which I believe would end Fairy Fire as well, because I think Fairy Fire is concentration.
Lesser
Yes.
Restoration is not concentration.
Oh, you're right. Duh.
You reach out and you place a shaky hand on Mouse, and you beckon Selene's waxing light to expunge the poison from her body. When this happens, it is such a jarring sensation that Mouse does kind of like cough and sputter a bit. And then she is able to breathe easier. There's like this green puff of cloud that she, this green puff of smoke that she coughs up. She blinks a moment, looks around at you all, and then there's the familiar husky voice of Mouse, the answerer. I'm real tired, you guys.
A potion! A potion!
Pastiche pulls out a potion of healing.
And Zoaz grabs it and immediately brings it up to Mouse and starts, like, carefully administering it.
Okay. Gulp, 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 gulp.
Delicious Pepsi.
Alright, go ahead and roll me a potion.
That would be 2d6, was it?
It's 2d4 plus 4 plus 2. Nice.
Nice.
That's a stout potion.
Indeed.
Alright.
Max healing potion.
She drinks from it lazily. She's clearly exhausted. She kind of like sputters a bit and starts coughing as she's as she accidentally like breathes and swallows at the same time, and it goes down the wrong tube. She's kind of bubbles back. But she, after a coughing fit, she calms down and is back to the conscious world of reality. She blinks a bit through bleary eyes. Her wounds are kind of like closed up, and so she's no longer in danger of, or no longer in immediate danger. She looks around. What? Am I glad? Jeez.
Oops, sorry.
Makayla hits her.
Press the wrong button! That was supposed to be push to talk, and it was the button next to push to talk, which is Polar Master.
It's the
How dare you
Raikel
go
boys
further.
from TF2.
How dare you go further down without us?
I'm glad to see you alive.
Hey. Glad to, you know, be alive. She's got kind of like snot dripping out of her nose.
I believe you should conserve your energy, friend.
She looks around. So, this is unexpected.
How did you get here exactly? Pass through walls of literal fallen stone. How? She kind of turns, glances a little bit at Toka. Is there more than one way to get in here?
Mouse reaches out, kind of weakly, and grabs her grappling hook. And Toka, when you look around and look at him, he just points upwards, but maintains eye contact with you. And
Fair enough.
that's where we'll end tonight's session.